All right, guys, we're going to get rocking and rolling here in a matter of moments. Like and share the show. Like and share the show. We're going to cover a range of topics, including the State of the Union last night, which I watched from start to finish. We are going to talk about Abigail Spanberger's response. If anyone does not realize that Abigail Spanberger and kingmakers within the Democratic Party are not trying to groom Abigail Spanberger to make a push at either a vice presidential run or a presidential run. I don't think you're reading the tea leaves correctly. She clearly is being groomed for higher office. 4 years as governor, and then from 4 years platformed into, I would imagine, I would think some kind of vice presidential push. I can't imagine you're going to segue from governor to president. But, you know, crazier things have happened. What did you guys think of the State of the Union last night? More reality television than an actual State of the Union? I found it extremely engaging. But it was engaging in the way that a train wreck as I drive by it or a car accident as I drive by it is engaging. I don't know if you felt that way, viewers and listeners. Donald Trump went, an hour and 47 minutes, the longest State of the Union in history. He trotted out the gold medal winning U.S. hockey team. He honored a number of soldiers with medals and accolades. A lot we're going to cover on the program here. Did you just restart Twitter, Judah?
I didn't restart it. I posted the link to the page.
Okay, got it. Awesome. Thank you. Like and share the show, viewers and listeners. Like and share the show. We're going to get rocking and rolling. It's live twice on the page. I mean, don't mess it up now. If you did it 2 minutes ago and now 35 seconds ago. Just a heads up. Is YouTube set up the right way?
I'm not seeing it twice.
Here, I'll show it to you. Right there. And right there.
Weird.
But you got to get those photos for Barracks Road, so don't go down the rabbit hole for this. Is I Love CVille, this I Love CVille show set up the right way on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I think we can rock and roll when you're ready here. I'll start with State of the Union. Give me a thumbs up when the Barracks Road updates are ready to show. I think that'll be some news that you, the viewer and listener, will find fresh, along with the fact that the Devil's Backbone Brew Pub is now for lease yet again. Is that one of the most cursed locations in the city of Charlottesville? Can you think of another more cursed location? Judah brought up a good one. Shadwell's on Pantops is certainly a cursed location. Rob Neal, welcome to the broadcast. The Alan Kajin owned Tonic, Tin Whistle, Carlton's, Uncle Charlie's, what other stuff at that location across from the police station?
Maybe the spot that Soul Food Kitchen was in for shortly.
Charlie K-Bash owns that. I've talked to Charlie K-Bash about purchasing that from him. He owns where the salad maker used to be. We came up with that name, that moniker. We helped launch that business, the Salad Maker. Like and share the show. Like and share the show. We're going to get rocking and rolling here on the water cooler of content and conversation. Give me a thumbs up when Barracks is ready to go so we can unveil the updates. I think they're beautiful. The Barracks Road, the opposite of a cursed location. Probably the hottest location in the city of Charlottesville is Federal Realty's Barracks Road Shopping Center. Janice Boyce-Trevelyan, welcome to the broadcast. We appreciate you, Janice Boyce-Trevelyan. Publicly traded Federal Realty owns Barracks Road Shopping Center, one of their trophy properties. That's ready to go? Fantastic. All right, we'll have a conversation on the program today, Judah. You ready to rock and roll?
Quiet on the set.
Fantastic. Thank you. Welcome to the I Love CVille show, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille show. My phone is absolutely buzzing right now. I have two landlords that watch this program quite often, and a commercial broker that watches the program quite often, literally texting me as I'm about to talk about commercial real estate on the show today. This is the water cooler of content and conversation here. We encourage you, the viewer and listener, to send ideas to the program. We want to be the water cooler. It does not mean that the content needs to originate from us. We will vet the content you send to us, and as we've kind of built a relationship with you, the viewer and listener, on the information you're sending to us, as we trust you, as we have that relationship, that proof of performance in play, we will feature your content more and more. We do it quite often on the program. Quite often. Oftentimes, those that are sending content to us do not want to be associated with the content they pass along, and that's totally fine too. You can count on us to maintain your anonymity. If you want to go as background or be kind of a source on the show, we've proven to you that we can maintain that relationship, and that's why we get information. Vanessa Parkhill, welcome to the broadcast. Print, radio, and television is watching the show. A number of elected officials are watching the program as we speak. A lot I want to cover on the program today. What'd you think of the State of the Union last night? I watched it from start to finish, the entire 1 hour and 47 minutes. It's like Donald Trump knew what was going on in Wahoo Nation. UVA beats the brakes off of NC State. They euthanize, the Wahoos euthanize the Wolfpack. The second half, it was getting ugly. I think it was 30, 31 points. Virginia was up. Played as good a basketball as any I've seen. But as soon as the Virginia basketball game was over, and our two sons snuck out of the room, these little wily little SOBs, I put our 3-year-old to bed. Here's the pattern of what we do in our house. I put our 3-year-old to bed. He's a pesky little ducker. Quack, quack, quack. My wife puts our 7-year-old to bed. We each read him a book. Our 3-year-old is really big into Curious George and Paw Patrol. Our 7-year-old is huge into squash and the Bad Guys books. So my wife reads him a chapter from the Bad Guys books while I read Curious George. I wonder why our 3-year-old is constantly getting into trouble. Every day he's watching Curious George on television or read books that are Curious George books. And this pesky little monkey can't be more than 2.5, 3 feet tall. He's getting into trouble left and right. I wonder if our 3-year-old is modeling Curious George. And I say, this monkey's always getting into trouble. And our 3-year-old laughs, and he laughs one of those sinister laughs, kind of like a James Earl Jones criminal, sinister laughing. He goes, "Not trouble, Daddy. Curious George." And I just shake my head. As I leave my 3-year-old's room, I head into our 7-year-old's room. We talk squash, watch some squash highlights while my wife kind of tucks in and kisses our 3-year-old. And that's pretty much the routine each night. We try to have them in bed and kind of the 8 o'clock, 8:30 vicinity. They're 3 and 7 years old. They're young. They then hear my wife, who is exhausted because she's carrying the weight of the entire family. She is an absolute rock star. Our family would not be where it's at today if it was not for my wife. I sincerely, authentically, genuinely mean that. They listen to the noises of the house. They hear she's closed the door to the room. She's in bed, and wait 15 minutes, and then they come out. First the 3-year-old, then the 7-year-old. I'm watching the Virginia basketball game. I have a cold beer in my hand. Last night, it was a Minuteman from 3 Notch Brewing Company. Our 3-year-old comes out. He goes, "Who's winning, Daddy?" And I pick him up. I put him on my lap. I'm sitting in a lazy boy recliner watching the game. The 7-year-old comes out 5 minutes later and says, "What? He beat me to it? That's not fair." He plops on the couch. The 3 of us end up watching the UVA basketball game. I then walk them back to their room. As the contest is finishing, I flip the channel to NBC News, watch State of the Union. Donald Trump walks through every politician of merit, through the crowd, gets behind the podium, soaks up the attention, and is iconic red tie with his Chester Cheeto orange hue, his comb over swept over, almost in disarray, not perfectly organized. I wonder if they didn't use enough Tresemme number 4 when prepping him for his State of the Union. And minutes after UVA euthanizes the Wolfpack, the State of the Union starts. And I'm like, well, that's perfect timing. I crack another IPA and I sit back what I expect to be about I think Bill Clinton had the record for the longest State of the Union at the time. I'm like, Trump's going to go at least an hour. I got a cold beer here. I'm ready to go. Trump ends up going an hour and 47 minutes. 1 hour and 47 minutes for his State of the Union, ladies and gentlemen. And this State of the Union had all the makings of reality television and less of the makings of diplomacy and presidential behavior. It reminded me of what was the game show that had various doors, and you had to guess or you got the prize that was behind one of those doors? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Was that Price is Right?
No, it wasn't Price is Right. That was Bob Barker. Gosh, I was in love with Bob Barker's Showcase Showdown baddies. Man, the baddies from the Showcase Showdown, those gals that were helping them work that spin the wheel and the putt-putt and Plinko. Remember Plinko on Price is Right? I used to skip school, pretend like I was sick. It's Let's Make a Deal was the game show. But I used to skip school as a kid in Williamsburg. And Williamsburg has merit on today's show because Spanberger gave the rebuttal while standing in Williamsburg. But I used to skip school so I could watch Price is Right and Young and the Restless. And those baddies at the Price is Right with the Plinko and the putt-putt and the Showcase Showdown and the spinning of the wheel, they were beautiful. And then I'd go into cricket and Victor Newman and Jack and all the soap opera that was Young and the Restless soon thereafter. It was a perfect way to spend an afternoon when you somehow faked a Ferris Bueller 102-degree fever and a little to stay in bed and stay in the house while your parents went to work. Let's Make a Deal was the game. And didn't you feel like Trump last night with the State of the Union was almost like the host of Let's Make a Deal? There were constantly, and behind door number 1 is the U.S. hockey team. And the U.S. hockey team who won a gold medal, on Sunday? He trots them out 55 hours later, roundabout. And these guys have the gold medal. They have the gold medals around their neck. The Democrats who sat together in the auditorium, they rarely stood anytime Trump was making a point. The Republicans, anytime he said basically a word, the Republicans were standing and clapping. Everyone stood when the U.S. hockey team, however, came out with the gold medals around their neck. And he was constantly bringing people out various doors during the State of the Union. It was more reality television show than presidential diplomacy. And while I found it can't miss television, my eyes were glued for the entire hour and 47 minutes. I absorbed the State of the Union as if I was watching a car accident or a train wreck as I was driving on the road in our family 4 Explorer and kind of rubbernecking to try to see what was going on. My glaze transfixed, my eyes transfixed on the accident. That's kind of what happened last night. I would imagine it's the most watched State of the Union in American history. It was an hour and 47 minutes. Extremely strategic to go an hour and 47 minutes on prime time. It pushed Abigail Spanberger's rebuttal back to well in the 11 o'clock hour on the East Coast. Can't imagine how many people stood up to watch Abigail Spanberger speak at Williamsburg in the 11 o'clock hour, the rebuttal to Donald Trump. That was strategic. Donald Trump went after every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every Jennifer, Kelly, and Sarah out there. He made reference to Border Patrol, to the golden age of America, to the greatest and wealthiest country in the world. He threw more shade than I could possibly count at Joe Biden. He zigged and zanged and hit below the belt on Nancy Pelosi. There was a point in the State of the Union last night where he was saying we need to stop insider trading with Congress. And even Elizabeth Warren jumped out of her seat and started giving him the most aggressive round of applause ever possible. And I think Trump, after he said we have to stop insider trading, said, do you think Nancy Pelosi is going to go for that? I think not. There were references to transgender. And did you guys see the Virginia girl? The reference to the Virginia girl with her parents bookending her? And he talked about how this girl who was transitioning because of the influence of Virginia public schools, Northern Virginia, from a girl to a guy, and then because the parents were not willing to acknowledge that their daughter was now a guy, a judge took her away from them. Now she's transitioned back to a girl and is back in the house with her parents and has a full scholarship to Liberty University. As Trump was heaping her with accolades last night, instead of clapping, I thought it was odd. Instead of clapping, she did this movement. She got her pointer finger and her thumb together and did this movement and kind of like chirped them as if she was a baby bluebird trying to eat the head of a worm that mama bluebird is trying to feed the baby. She was like, ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. The dad was humiliated. The mom was beaming with pride. She's got a full scholarship to Liberty University. Vice President J.D. Vance looked like he was going to have knee issues. How he probably sat down and stood up like 300 times. That's like a P90X workout for Vice President J.D. Vance. The First Lady was on camera constantly during the State of the Union. She's a beautiful lady. She was referenced as a movie star by President Trump. This was legitimately reality television last night, ladies and gentlemen. What did you think of the State of the Union? Curtis Shaver, you're right. Let's make a deal. Brick Wolf said he stopped after a handful of the early live. There was a lot of the stretching of the truth last night in the State of the Union, without question. But that's what he does. That is who he is. The Supreme Court justices were in the first row, some clad in their justice robes, and they were oftentimes shown on camera, and they were just stoic, almost humiliated when he referenced Trump that they shot down his tariff strategies. It was wild. You had folks kicked out of chambers. I mean, it was absolutely wild. Judah, I want to give some love to Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company, 62 years in business for Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, and Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com, where they have an e-commerce store that offers free delivery to your doorstep, oftentimes the same day. Guys, you could get anything cleaning related, vacuum related, sanitary related, swimming pool related at this business that's been around for 62 years. And the family will deliver it to your house for free at price points that beat the big box brands. Their swimming pool division, Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company, is anything swimming pool related. Building pools, cleaning pools, pool covers, pool robots, water testing, anything. John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion at Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply. Lloyd Snook, welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you watching the show. Gunnar Cook, one of the best salesmen I've ever met, watching the broadcast. We appreciate you. Gunnar Cook of Stanley Martin Homes. James Watson, Catherine D'Souza. She's got a fantastic forehand and a backhand. Welcome to the broadcast. Public Fish and Oysters, Daniel Kaufman. I know you hated the Charlottesville, the State of the Union last night, Daniel Kaufman. Curious of your thoughts. Betsy Nugent. Judah Wickower, Studio Camera 2-Shot. I was transfixed. It was the second or third cousin, the State of the Union last night, of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
That's a way to put it.
The second or third cousin of Ryan Seacrest, executive producing, Keeping Up the Kardashians. And the only thing missing was some plastic surgery and Bruce Jenner transitioning. Everything else was the same. What struck you from an hour and 47 minutes straight? Imagine being the speechwriter.
Do you think there was one?
How much of what Trump did for an hour and 47 minutes last night was tied to a prompter and words on a prompter and an official speech provided to the president? Or how much of what happened last night was Donald Trump ad-libbing on the fly?
Yeah.
Did you guys see John McGuire at the end of the State of the Union? There was a couple of shots at the end of the State of the Union, and John McGuire joined us on the I Love CVille show last week. Props to Congressman John McGuire for coming on the show. Had a new glimpse of John McGuire. I thought he was extremely authentic when he was on the show. Thank you to John McGuire for coming on the show. I will say how he was depicted at the end of the State of the Union last night was a bit desperate looking, as he was eager to get close to Donald Trump as he was walking out of the auditorium, out of the chamber. He was, Congressman McGuire, trying to either get a selfie or get a handshake, get a high five, something with Donald Trump. And they caught John McGuire on camera as he was kind of like moving, like getting in front of people. He was kind of like tiptoeing. He was doing like the do-si-do. I mean, he was, doing this with his shoulders. He was kind of trying to... It had everything last night. Judah Wickower, my friend, with a lot of people watching. What tickled your fancy?
I wonder how much the length of the State of the Union address was just to push back Abigail Spanberger's rebuttal.
I think without question it was strategic. Without question, it was strategic. It not only pushed back Abigail Spanberger's rebuttal into the 11 o'clock hour on the East Coast, and how about the newly minted Virginia governor getting national airtime in prime time, but then seeing that prime time head to the 11 o'clock hour when it's not so prime time. It was also strategic by Donald Trump because he knew that the national news, the talking heads, the analysts that were going to cover his State of the Union that started after 9 o'clock would have less airtime post-State of the Union to offer negative analytical commentary on what he said. Because we know CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and NBC were all going to be negative in their analysis and commentary on the State of the Union. Only Fox News was going to offer favorable commentary. So by going an hour and 47 minutes, he starts intruding upon the 11 o'clock broadcast time for the national news networks. Yeah. And at the 11 o'clock broadcast time for the national news networks, he's very smart. He knows that at the 11 o'clock slot on the East Coast, the national networks have to go to their local news. Like if you watch NBC on a box in front of a couch, I don't do that. Couldn't tell you the last time I've watched broadcast news. Probably before COVID, the last time our household has watched broadcast news, just being straightforward. But by going up to 11 o'clock, he knew the talking heads at the national networks would have like 9 or 10 minutes tops to offer negative commentary on him. So not only does he take away Spanberger's primetime spotlight. Can you imagine being a fly on the wall in Abigail Spanberger's dressing room or the green room? She was thinking all along, I am going to be able to address the nation with the Democratic rebuttal to Donald Trump. And then as it went from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes, Spanberger, I can assure you, was fuming because she was losing thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of eyeballs every 15-minute increment he was extending to the longest State of the Union in American history.
Well, I think one big change to the State of the Union is that it used to be far more, personal. I mean, it was a way for the president to talk to the people of America, and obviously President Trump does plenty of that on almost daily basis via social media, and so I think that, along with the fact that he was, pushing back the time when Spanberger would get to start, I think was far less impactful because people aren't just going to be able to watch it on, Channel 7 on their television the night of. It's going to be around for anyone to watch. There are going to be transcripts, and honestly, I mean, like I said, the people that are pro-Trump, we're always going to cheer his State of the Union address, and the people that are anti-Trump, were never going to have their minds changed.
Yes and no. Yes, I agree that the people are pro-Trump, regardless of what Trump said last night. We're going to be pro-Trump, and we're going to support him regardless of what he said. I think there was an opportunity for Trump to improve his approval rating, which is pretty abysmal right now. And there was an opportunity for Trump to set up a political ecosystem that was a little bit more favorable come midterms. And midterms are right around the corner. And I don't think necessarily Trump did that. I want the viewers and listeners that watch this program that try to politically moniker me as conservative or Republican to hear what I'm saying. I'm offering analytical analysis that is not favorable of Trump in the State of the Union last night. I don't think what he did for an hour and 47 minutes, the end result is favorable for Republicans and conservatives come midterms.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear what the Democrats are trying to do. They're trying to say, we are the party of you, the American population that is struggling to pay your bills. There's this world we live in right now where the stock market is record high.
All-time highs every day.
All-time highs for the stock market. All-time highs. Okay? If you're in a class of American that is deeply invested in stocks and equities, your wealth is most likely at an all-time high. I mean, consider it. If you own real estate, it's at an all-time high in value. If you have if that's your home. If you have investment property, rental property, it's at an all-time high in value. Plus, your rents are basically at an all-time high for your rental properties. If you have vacation homes, second and third homes, all-time high in value. If you Airbnb them, all-time high in occupancy and the charges and fees you can charge. Your occupancy is great. The fees you're charging are great. If you have stocks and equities, all-time high. Literally all-time high. This class of American, it is the golden age for them. We're in a gilded golden age. And he used that terminology last night in the State of the Union. If the large majority of Americans, the pyramid of the voting triangle, the base, if you use a pyramid, a triangle, the base is not of that socioeconomic status.
Definitely not.
Far from it. In the base of the triangle, where the large percentage of voters live and reside, are literally paycheck to paycheck. They are paycheck to paycheck. It's been made very clear. And I thought what Trump did yesterday was appeal to the top of the triangle, but really missed the reality that the base of the triangle is the populace and the robust voter base, if you may. Spanberger comes on, and you're rotating lower thirds on screen, please. There's lower thirds. She comes on from Williamsburg. Big ups to Williamsburg. And I'm going to read your comments, viewers and listeners, here on the show in a matter of moments. And I'm going to give some props to Spanberger first. Then I'm going to knock Spanberger next. Anyone that's trying to label me a Republican, a Democrat, a conservative, a liberal, a libertarian, whatever it is, listen to the show, dude. I just call a spade a spade. Okay? I don't vote party. I vote policy and platform and promises, and I use the word promises loosely. Spanberger comes on for her rebuttal from Williamsburg. Big ups to Williamsburg, my hometown. Born in South Florida in Naples. Grew up in Williamsburg. Williamsburg's the home. where I was raised. Charlottesville's my home. There's no place I lived longer than Charlottesville. Been here 26 years in August. Charlottesville's where I became a man. Matured, fiance, husband, father, business owner for 18 years in May. But big ups, Williamsburg. Spanberger is a gifted speaker. Spanberger is a very gifted public speaker. She uses her hands well. She delivers in a way that you feel human connection and authenticity. She looks the part. Abigail Spanberger, in a lot of ways, reminds me of Hillary Clinton without the Clinton baggage. Hillary Clinton was groomed by the National Democratic Party to become the face of America, the face of Democrats. A lot of stuff went against Hillary Clinton's way right before it was game time for America to decide. Abigail Spanberger is Clinton without the baggage. Now the question is, can you parlay the governor's mansion, some Congress, some CIA, and some law enforcement into presidential? There are kingmakers that are clearly trying to do this with Abigail Spanberger. How does somebody that's been the governor of Virginia for a month, for literally a month, get handpicked to offer the rebuttal to Donald Trump on national television in front of the world? That's not a coincidence.
Definitely not.
She uses the word, I try to do this often, okay? This is kind of like, I've taken public speaking classes at the University of Virginia. I don't know how many. I was a part of speech and debate and forensics in high school. My mother understood the importance of public speaking with my brother and I, and 2 or 3 times a week would have my brother and I at night literally standing on a soapbox in front of her and giving public speeches to my mom and the other brother, either me or my brother. And she would be critiquing us twice a week, 3 times a week, on our delivery and our execution for like 15 minutes before bed. No BS truly happened. Then went to college, took a handful of public speaking classes at the University of Virginia, parlayed that into syndicated radio, television talk shows, and now what we're doing now. You can start analyzing speech patterns for talented orators. Spanberger utilizes the tactic and skill set of 3. When you're using the spoken word, rattling off lists in 3s offers rhythm, allows you to go and bing, bam, boom. And when you use 3s, bing, bam, boom, and do it in a way where you're saying it and also delivering it with your body language, it breeds you're captivating. You're human connecting. She did that multiple times in her rebuttal yesterday. Now, the cons for Abigail Spanberger. I can't. Does anyone think Virginia is going to be more affordable under Abigail Spanberger's watch? The entire premise of Spanberger and the large premise of Donald Trump was affordability for Americans, was the economy. It's the economy, stupid. Who's that, James Carville?
Yeah, I think so.
The political scientist, the political consultant? It's the economy, stupid. That's how Americans vote. I sincerely and authentically mean this. I don't see a Virginia under Abigail Spanberger, a Democrat, and a Virginia under a General Assembly that's controlled by Democrats being any way affordable for Virginians.
Yeah.
And that's not about shade. I want to hear from someone I trust. We're working on Larry Sabato. Larry Sabato, we're efforting the UVA star professor We're circulating March 5th Thursday or March 12th Thursday. The dude is so busy. Not only is he teaching classes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but he's got like political virtuosos coming to the University of Virginia left and right. In fact, the last one was this is what his colleague, his booking colleague. I'm now speaking to his booking colleague, Nancy Pelosi. Evidently, we didn't get on the schedule ahead because Nancy Pelosi trumped us.
What are you going to do?
Nancy Pelosi's trumping the I Love CVille show. What the HE double hockey sticks. I hope the Nancy Pelosi is asked when she's on grounds at the University of Virginia about the shade Donald Trump threw her way with insider trading. And then her Democratic colleague, Elizabeth Warren, shooting out of her seat as if there was Mexican jumping beans on the seat or red ants nibbling at her rear end. Elizabeth Warren got up and literally was aggressively clapping her hands about insider trading in Congress. I'll ask Larry Sabato, is there a chance for affordability in the Commonwealth when the General Assembly is dominated by Democrats, as is the governor's mansion? We want split government, not monopolized government.
Yeah.
Split government's for what's best for Americans. Monopolized government is not what's best for Americans or Virginians. There's so many instances of monopolized government being bad for voters, Americans, Virginians, Charlottes. You want to talk about monopolized government being bad for Albemarle Countyans or Charlottesvillians? Have we looked at the budget, Albemarle County, over $600 million? You know, today at noon, the county executive is presenting to Albemarle County's Board of Supervisors his suggestion for Albemarle County's budget. If the word real estate tax rate increase is on the tips of the tongues of any of the Albemarle County supervisors or the county executive, do we hang in effigy the humans that use it? I sincerely mean this. Who was the last person, Carol Thorpe, to be hung in effigy in this community? I believe it was Dave Norris, the former Charlottesville mayor, was hung in effigy during the Occupy Charlottesville, Occupy Wall Street movement and Lee Park. Sorry, Emancipation Park. Sorry, Market Street Park. What's the park called now?
Is it just Market Park?
Ziana Bryant Park. What is the park called now? I sincerely mean that. Is it Market Street Park?
I think so.
Is it Market Street Park? Okay. The last person to be hung in effigy in the city of Charlottesville, Carol Thorpe, this is legitimately right up your alley. I believe it was Dave Norris, right, at Market Street Park. If real estate tax rate increase is used by anyone at the Albemarle County office building, which is a hop, skip, and a jump from here, I think I could hit my driver, my tailor-made bubble burner, from here to the Albemarle County office building. If it catches a couple of hops on the asphalt, right near Market Street Park, Lee Park, Ziana Bryant Park, Emancipation Park, I think my Titleist Bellata can make it that far. Do we consider hung in effigy, metaphorically, proverbially? Please don't take my word seriously. We'll give some love to 919 Druid Avenue, Judah. 919 Druid Avenue is a listing of merit and note that you should absolutely consider. It's got a basement apartment that's income generating. 919 Druid Avenue is 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, nearly 2,200 square feet on a beautiful lot in the city within walking distance of anything and everything enjoyable in downtown Belmont and on the downtown mall. 919 Druid Avenue. You must see it to believe it. The income generating basement apartment will offset any mortgage overhead and carrying costs for this property. It is the hard work and effort of Katie Mullins, of Blenheim Realty Group, Ben Mullins of Blenheim Builders, and Chris Coiner of Decim Design Build. Judah Wickower, you jump in here. Spanberger, Donald Trump, and what we saw last night before we go to some other topics and some comments on the show.
Well, in the case of what you termed reality TV, I think it's fairly true. It was almost a farce at times, I think. Trump basically gave himself kudos over a lot of stuff. Some of it false, some of it true, some of it a little of both. From lifting millions of people off of food stamps to more Americans working to murder rates the lowest in 125 years. I just feel like less would have been more. I think the quote that you posted from Larry Sabato was really on point. That he could have made something.
You're talking about the retweet?
Yeah.
On Twitter? Okay, go ahead.
Less would have been more. He could have done a lot more. He could have looked a lot better. I don't think the extended runtime did him much good, even if it did tick off Abigail Spanberger.
Comments are coming in quickly. Chad Wood's got one of the best comments out there. Chad Wood says, was there any additional tax to watch Abigail Spanberger's rebuttal? Any additional tax? Stacey Baker Patty laughs hysterically to Chad Wood and his comments. Chad Wood is one of the best running backs to matriculate through the Jefferson District in the Western Albemarle football program under Steve Isaacs and his prolific single-wing attack that featured Brian Leskinek. Ginny Hu is watching the program, her photo on screen. Ginny Hu says, Spanberger is the Democrats' new playbook to see if you can run as a moderate and win, then institute whatever extremely left policies you want. Ginny Hu says you can thank Woodrow Wilson for the State of the Union becoming an address rather than a letter submitted to Congress. She says, not all Democrats stood for the hockey team. Anyone who did not stand for the hockey team and the gold medal when they entered last night should be stripped of whatever position or title they have.
Wow.
If there's any cross-aisle unifying storyline in America today, it's the USA hockey team winning gold and beating Canada in what was storybook culmination. Ginny Hu says, Nick Freitas fought hard for Sage and her family while he was a delegate. If you Googled her finger movements, it's called clocking and is a TikTok trend. It's akin to spilling the tea, meaning the president was telling the truths people don't want to hear. So this was the...
Interesting.
This was the... I don't even know how to describe this. The minor who transitioned from girl to guy, then transitioned back from guy to girl, was taken from her parents because her parents would not recognize in court that she was a guy at the time. Instead, chose to recognize her by her birth gender, sex, her birth sex, was then institutionalized, put into foster homes with other boys. In that foster scenario with other boys, she was ridiculed mercilessly, then transitions back to girl, and has now got a full ride to Jerry Falwell's Liberty University, one of the most Christian far-right four-year universities in America. Wild story. Trump talked about it there. And how Trump portrayed it was so matter-of-fact that it didn't have any, I guess I would say compassion. So it was just as if he was calling the play-by-play of what happened to this minor while she was bookend with her parents as the whole world was watching, and they were 50 feet, 100 feet from him.
Yeah.
It was wild. It was wild. And Ginny Who says, John McGuire was shown before, during, and after. Guess it depends on which coverage you watched. CNN already asked Pelosi about it, and she gave a non-answer answer about the insider trading comments and what Donald Trump had to say. Comments are coming in faster than I can keep up. Vanessa Parkhill, the Queen of Earlysville, the Supreme Court justices are always stoic during the State of the Union. And she says, I'm glad that most Democrats appear to attend. I don't expect them to give the president any standing ovations, but I think showing up is part of their job, and she's glad they showed up. Vanessa Parkhill, most of the people who are paycheck to paycheck have been and will likely be that regardless of who is in the White House. I've been there and I've seen family members there. Personal choices have a lot to do with it. The beauty of America is with hard work and a little luck, you can change your situation. I know a lot of people who did not grow up in a wealthy home who are doing quite well now. Amen, Vanessa. And she says, it depends on how you define affordable. There's a business-like approach where policy leads to lower cost of goods and services. Then there's an approach that depends on the government dispersing tax dollars to low-income households. I prefer the former. It allows me to direct charitable funds as I see fit versus counting on politicians to choose for me. Scott Aaronworth is watching the program. The talented Esquire, is it Virginia Beach or Portsmouth, Scott Aaronworth? He said, John McGuire, no offense to you, Jerry, because I know you were a fan. He looked like he was fangirling and looked clownish at the end. And then he says, why was John McGuire sitting on the Democrat side? He looked weak last night. Then he says, a couple of other comments must be in reference to some of the other stuff. Scott, clarify the other comments that I'll relay them live on air. There's a boatload of comments watching the program. Jeremy Wilson is watching the program in Eastern Tennessee. You have folks in 7 different states watching the program right now. Thank you, Lauren and Ivy, for letting me know it was Let's Make a Deal. We appreciate you. On the I Love CVille Facebook page, goodness, there's a lot. Janice Boyce Trevelyan's photo on screen. She says Abigail Spanberger was not honest either. Janice Boyce Trevelyan says, I thought she was awful, very stoic, did not connect. Janice Boyce Trevelyan thinks Abigail Spanberger is in Soros' pocket. And she also says, beware, Jerry, Larry Sabato is very biased. Jeremy Wilson in Eastern Tennessee, Donald Trump is not a politician. He's not going to change. At least you could understand what he was saying, unlike Joe Biden. Joe Biden's State of the Union was disastrous. Disastrous. Barbara Becker-Tilley watching the program. I think you looked too deep into Trump's speech. He is Trump. He rambles on. But last night he used the Democrats' opposition to him, their anger at him, against them. The fact that Democrats are not willing to stand up and work for Americans speaks volumes. Barbara Becker-Tilley also says, Virginia is in trouble with Scamberger. Many of us saw it coming. However, she needs this platform to spring forward in her political aspirations by following along with an agenda. You're going to have to convince me that the governor is not a socialist, viewers and listeners. Convince me that Abigail Spanberger is not a socialist and has not smoke and mirrored or 3-card Montied Virginia voters with a campaign on affordability and putting more money in Virginians' pockets. John Blair watching the program. A contender for cursed location when you get to this topic is Albemarle Square Shopping Center from Rio. There is a structure there that has been so many enterprises on your left, and the entire strip of street-level retail in West Main under one of the student apartment complexes. It's where Potbellies used to be. We're going to get to the cursed locations on the program here in a matter of moments. We've gone about 50 minutes on the State of the Union. I thought it was must-see television. I mean, it was must-see television. And that's not me speaking in favor. That's just me being like, oh my God, he did that.
Right.
He did that.
Sometimes you got to wonder why no one's standing behind him to knock the phone out of his hands when he starts tweeting or...
Is Donald Trump 80 years old?
I think so.
Is he 80?
At least.
He is the most... He's 79. He's about to turn 80. He is the most energetic and vivacious 79-year-old I have ever seen.
No doubt.
He spoke for an hour and 47 minutes straight and was not tired, gasping for air, and literally could have done it for another hour and 47 minutes.
I know people like that.
But I'm not 79, though.
Did I say it was
There's
you?
huge, we're talking 40 years of difference.
Did I say it was you?
Oh, everyone knows who you're alluding to. Next topic. What do you got, Judah Whitcar? We're going to keep the show moving here. Viewers and listeners, hammer the like button if you like the show. Like and share the show. We work hard for you. That's the only thing we ask in return. Like and share the show. What's next, Judah Whitcar?
Old Devil's Backbone spot.
Yes, so we got this information sent to us yesterday. Devil's Backbone, and what's it? It's in the Lark.
I'll have to look.
That's where it's at. It's in the Lark. It's now for lease again. Think about what's been in that brew pub on West Main Street. You've had Hardywood. You had the terrible luck of Skipping Rock Brewing Company. Skipping Rock Brewing Company is now out of business, and a lot of their beer equipment is at Pro Renata. Pro Renata, John Shabe, he's a businessman. Is John Shabe watching the program today? They purchased a lot of the Skipping Rock Beer Brewing Company equipment when they went out. One of the main reasons Skipping Rock went out of business is they, bad luck, took over the lease for Hardywood on West Main Street. Is that Roosevelt Brown in West Main? Is it the corner of Roosevelt Brown and West Main there? And then COVID hit. And then basically Skipping Rock was paying rent on a place that couldn't be used because the government, the feds told us we couldn't leave our house. And we had to basically live in our house, and they scared the bejeebus out of us. I never followed that. Never, always gray area. Gray area certainly then. And I caught a lot of shade for that. But in hindsight, it was right. After Skipping Rock closed and we can't afford this anymore. We even have to shut down our business, and now we're selling our infrastructure, our equipment for pennies on the dollar to pay creditors. Devil's Backbone made the surprising move to move into this space. Almost immediately, you could tell that there was no traction and momentum. For Devil's Backbone, that is owned by InBev, a global conglomerate now owning Devil's Backbone. It's finally for lease after they tried the rent the space out in private capacity, like a private events model. The private events model really appears to be even struggling in Charlottesville and other locations. That's a topic for another show. Now for lease, and it leads me to believe, is this one of the most cursed locations in the city of Charlottesville? The fabulous crew at Tallheimer, Johnny Pritzloff, Jenny Stoner, Josie Williams, they're phenomenal commercial brokers, the best of the best. I sincerely hope they hear this. They're not going to like that I'm using the word cursed location with their spot. Johnny, Jenny, and Josie are phenomenal at what they do. Clearly, this spot has had headwinds. It's not tied to you in any capacity. But is there any other more cursed location in Charlottesville City than that Devil's Backbone, that Skipping Rock, that Hardywood Brew Pub location, Judah?
If there is, it's going to be close. I know we've got several outside of the Charlottesville City.
Charlottesville City specific, because there's a lot in Albemarle County.
Yeah, I know.
Shadwell's on Pantops is Albemarle County.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to narrow it to 10.2 square miles. What are the most cursed locations in Charlottesville City? This is right up Curtis Shaver's alley. Curtis, you would offer some insight. You have experience on the comings and goings of food and beverage locally. You are very savvy and sophisticated. John Blair, this is up your alley. Vanessa Parkhill, this is up your alley. Janice Boyce Trevelyan, this is up your alley. Judah Wickhauer, this is up your alley.
Stonefield's across the border.
Stonefield's Albemarle County.
Duh.
Stonefield's Albemarle County. Right over the county line.
Yep.
Okay, I'll offer some that seemed cursed to me. Draft Tap Room,
Yeah.
Commonwealth Sky Bar.
Those almost go hand in hand.
They're across the street from each other.
And they were hand in hand for a while.
They were at one time owned and operated, not the real estate, the business, by the Alex George Restaurant Group. Alex George had Commonwealth Sky Bar. He then had Commonwealth Reserve, which was across that side street, and mentor of the program, Bill Nitchman's building, the professional center. And then Alex George was also running Just Curry, the curry business out of where Draft Tap Room is now. Remember Just Curry? That was pre-COVID. The folks that own the Draft Tap Room location, I believe it's the Masons. The Masons also have their headquarters right next door. The Masons,
yeah. Yeah, I know what
it's
you're
not the last name moniker. It's, how would you characterize what the Masons are?
Freemasons.
The Freemasons. That's the last time I've seen them operating in a for black capacity. What Hunter was doing with Passiflora was not in the black. There was some scuttlebutt and rumor that J.R. Hadley, friend of the program, savvy restaurateur, was partnering with Laura Fauner to do something in the old Commonwealth Sky Bar location. And then that dematerialized after Laura then became the head chef at Beer Run. I'd say Sky Bar and the Draft Tap Room are pretty cursed. How about the Tonic location? Alan Kajean's. Alan's not going to like this. He watches and listens to the show. Got no beef with you, Alan Kajeen. Got no beef, Alan Kajeen. I appreciate you watching and listening to the program. Bi-coastal Alan Kajeen, California and Charlottesville.
Wasn't it Bocce at one point?
Cafe
Was that
Bocce.
A long, long time ago?
Cafe Bocce was
I don't
there.
even know if I remember that.
Cafe Bocce was owned by Chris Long, not the football player, but Chris Long, the former Scottsville mayor.
Okay.
It was owned by, it was also Uncle Carlton's, a piano bar. I think it was also Tin Whistle Irish Pub.
Yeah.
Tonic.
Yeah.
What was else? Viewers and listeners, Curtis, help me out here. What else was in that location? Tonic, Tin Whistle,
Bocce.
Cafe Bocce, Carlton's. I should know what else was in that location across from the Charlottesville police station. Other cursed locations. Do we now call the Wild Wing Cafe spot? That's an Alan Kajeen owned too. A lot of these are Alan Kajeen spots. You got Commonwealth Sky Bar. You got Tonic. You got Wild Wing Cafe. Those are Kajeens. Don't hate me, Alan. Think you're a great landlord. Not everybody. I think you're a great landlord.
They seem to have problems.
Hank Barton watching the program. He says, Handsome Hank, consider the abandoned Red Lobster and previous Outback Steakhouse at Albemarle Square and Fashion Square. That's Albemarle County, though, Handsome Hank.
Yep.
That's over the city line. We're sticking with the city here. Bob Yarbrough, this is right up your alley. Rob Neal, this is right up your alley. Kid Ashley, this is right up your alley. Daniel Kaufman, this is right up your alley. Troy Robinson, this is right up your alley. Charlie K. Bash's Soul Food joint used to be the Salad Maker.
Yep.
We came up with the name for the Salad Maker. I tried to buy the Soul Food joint, that building, from Charlie K. Bash at one time. Wanted way more money than it's worth. Now he's trying to Airbnb it.
Airbnb it.
Yeah. He's got it into an Airbnb.
I'm guessing not the first floor.
I think that's part of it.
How is that part of it? There's like a kitchen in there, isn't there?
Conan Owen is watching the program. He says the Black Cow location went through 6 different restaurants before landing on Daniel Kaufman, and beef is a successful business. Daniel Kaufman's watching the show right now. Black Cow Chop House used to be...
No, it was 3 Penny. It was...
Zinc. It was First the Station. First ever date that I went on. I've been in Charlottesville for 26 years in August. The first ever real date where I was not pounding natural lights with girls that I was trying to take home at the Biltmore or Coops or at Orbit at the time, where I literally set a time. I'll pick you up. I didn't have a car, so we took the trolley. We went to the station, which is where Black Cow Chop House is. Had a fabulous date. Zinc, 3 Penny Cafe.
Yeah.
What else was in that spot? Daniel, what else was in that spot? You're not going to be able to Google that.
You don't know.
How are you going to Google that? What are you going to Google? What was in Black Cow Chop House?
No.
That's a hell of a trivia question. That's a cursed spot.
Mm.
That's not Kajin, is it, Daniel? His landlord is Kajinet Public. Me, our firm helped launch One Meatball Place.
Yeah.
Richard Zakin and Meg Zakin, who made a boatload of money working for Paul Manning. Fantastic people, the Zakins. They approached our firm. We want to launch a meatball shop, similar to the meatball shop in New York, in Manhattan. And we came up with One Meatball Place. Mm-hmm. One of the few times where they come to us and say, this is what I want the logo to look like, a red circle with One Meatball Place underneath it. Yeah. We gave it to him. He's like, I love it. Let's go. One Meatball Place was where Public Fish and Oyster was.
Yeah.
Conan Owen says Little Star used to be at the Black Cow Chop House. That's another one. Good call, Conan Owen. And we launched One Meatball Place. But the Zakins are phenomenal people. Phenomenal people. Richard is so bright. They weren't restaurant people. Turning a profit in a restaurant in like the first 12 to 18 months is just unrealistic. And he just was not very patient with One Meatball Place. And Daniel Kaufman came in and bought One Meatball Place from the Zakins for pennies on the dollar. And Daniel Kaufman is a restaurant person. And he saw a gap in the market and went seafood and oysters with a fantastic happy hour and market rate lobster rolls with friendly bartenders.
Yeah.
And has crushed it. There's no restaurant in the city of Charlottesville that does more revenue by square foot than Public. I'm not saying top line revenue. I'm saying revenue tied to square foot than Public Fish and Oyster. Period, bar none, end of story. Not a single one. And he parlayed that success into Black Cow Chop House. He does a really good job of offering executive chefs, his right hand, a piece of the business. Brilliant move. Got a little over his skis. I think he would agree with me on this. I think this is fair to say, Daniel. A little over the skis with the bottle shop. Didn't understand that one. Sold the bottle shop. Curse location list, I would say in this order. You ready? Mm-hmm. Number 1, that brew pub. Number 2, the tonic spot. Number 3, Wild Wing. Kajin's better off taking Wild Wing Cafe and chopping that up into 2 or 3 different spots.
Do we add Spud Nuts?
Number 4, Spud Nuts is crushing it. Tomas is crushing it. Quality Pie to now Bar Tomas. He's crushing it there. And okay. Spud Nuts was there forever.
I know.
That spot's not cursed.
I figured there was a reason he changed the name, though.
He changed it because he came up with a brand for a sit-down restaurant that had the word pie in it.
I know.
And wasn't really just selling pie. Just came out of the gates with a brand moniker, bad branded moniker.
That's fair.
Curtis Shaver's got some good ones. Oh, Curtis Shaver, I'd give you a flying chest bump right now. He says the glass building seems cursed. Yeah. Oliver Kootner owned the glass building. Mm-hmm. He says the old Positively 4th Street spot seems cursed. That's where Red Pump Kitchen.
Yeah, Laziz is there now.
And now the Indian spot, Laziz's.
Laziz. Or Lazy's.
Interesting story for the viewers and listeners. The head of Riverbend Development is Corin Capshaw. His right-hand person, who I believe is the CEO or the president of Riverbend Development, is Alan Taylor. At one time before Alan Taylor became a development impresario and a development kingpin, he was the general manager of Positively 4th Street on the downtown mall. He'll tell you that. Corin Capshaw owned Positively 4th Street. Alan Taylor was his GM of this restaurant that failed. But he cut his chops and built his relationship with Corin running Positively 4th Street, and now he's a kingpin in Central Virginia as the head honcho of Riverbend. But I remember Alan Taylor when he was trying to figure out how to sell $11 cocktails at Positively 4th Street. Kurt Shaver made the program better. A bunch of supervisors and counselors watching the program. We got a delegate and a state senator watching the program. Next topic on the program. Should we go an hour and 47 minutes on today's show?
At least.
We're an hour and 7 minutes. I just have to go 10 more.
We got to one up the president. Next up, we've got the who's euthanizing the wolf pack.
Did you guys watch the game last night? Why don't we give some love to JerryRatcliffe.com? We'll make an announcement on JerryRatcliffe.com and what our firm is trying to do to drive market share for Jerry Ratcliffe and JerryRatcliffe.com, maybe later today or tomorrow. Big news coming up for Jerry Ratcliffe, the Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. You giving him some love on screen?
There we go.
Jerry Ratcliffe, Virginia Sports Hall of Famer. JerryRatcliffe.com is the source of the source for anything UVA related. Support this man. Support this man. Support this man. He's an institution. And news ain't free. If you want content creators to produce quality content, it ain't free. This comes in through anonymous sources. The dairy market appears to be cursed.
It's hard to argue against.
This individual says, also bring back old school McGrady's Irish pub, Scott Roth, please. Dairy market. It's too expensive to rent one of those stalls. And it's entirely too seasonal.
Mm.
And one of the things that's extremely unfortunate about dairy market, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase here. A lot of people aren't talking about this. The businesses that are failing at dairy market, an extremely large majority are minority-owned businesses.
Hmm.
Look at it. The businesses that are failing at dairy market are in very large majority minority-owned businesses that are losing a lot of money. That's sad.
No doubt.
Because there's not that many minority-owned businesses in Charlottesville. They're testing the water there. It's not working.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say this. It's not my news to say. I've teased this on previous shows. There's some closings on the near horizon that are pretty substantial.
Mm.
I'll leave it at that. In regards to the Miami game, the NC State game, that was the most dominant I've ever seen UVA play under Ryan Odom. And now they got number 1 Duke on the docket on Saturday at 12 o'clock high noon in Durham, Cameron Indoor Stadium. If Virginia plays like it did against NC State, it could win this contest. Now, if you looked at what Duke did against Notre Dame, they beat the Fighting Irish by like 46 points last night. Duke has got a top 3 draft pick in the Boozer kid in the NBA draft. He's just a freshman, like legitimately a freshman. Where DeRitter's a freshman on paper, but he's 23 years old. This Boozer kid is 18. You're going to see an 18-year-old go toe-to-toe with a professional basketball player that's 23 and DeRitter. And the 18-year-old's going to be able to hold his own. Virginia's going to have to win this game on three-point shooting and on depth. And either Jakari White or Chance Mallory or maybe both are going to have to go off to complement DeRitter's scoring. And then Grunlow and Hugo are going to have to bring a block party to Cameron. Because it's going to be a physical game with Boozer inside. Regardless, you're looking at a Virginia basketball team. This is important to emphasize from an economy standpoint. I cannot tell you how many Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Central Virginia businesses have told me that a successful football season has kept their business open. And I can't tell you how many of these same people who said football season are the only reason why our lights are still on are now saying basketball season is the only reason our lights are still on. Now, some would say in this Darwinistic world that we live in, some would say that anomalies or independent variables, like football teams that win the most games in one season in program history, or basketball teams under a first-year head coach that are top 11 in the nation and could be top 7 if they beat Duke, those should not be driving forces for economic trends. That all they're doing is propping up businesses that are struggling, like we did during the pandemic with PPP, with cheap interest rates, and with all the other free money. Mm-hmm. You know how many people that are clients of ours, we've been in business for 18 years in May, at the end of May 29th. You know how many clients of ours are in business for longer than that 18-year period of us? Probably half our client roster, because we're extremely fortunate to work alongside them. The Interstate family is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. The remaining 50% have been in business less than us. And the 50% that have been in business the longest, over that 18-year benchmark, longer than us, have said that propping up businesses with PPP, with cheap money tied to cheap interest rates, or the independent variables of basketball and football programs, all it does is hurt the businesses that legitimately are viable and have foundational principles in place that have allowed them to have generational existences.
Yeah.
That's the deep, dark side. I had this conversation with a really, really, really good friend. Really, 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 really good friend. He's like, I need to go into business for myself. I'm tired of what I'm doing. I said, you got to be careful. You got retirement matching account. You got health insurance. You may hate your job. You may severely be underpaid. You are extremely unhappy. But going into business for yourself is a fight for a knife in the mud every day. That's what entrepreneurship is, a fight for a knife in the mud every day. And if you can't wake up every morning and look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am going to do whatever it takes to fight for that knife in the mud, and I will win 5 days out of 7 and get that knife, do not do this. He looked at me and he's like, and I'm like, yeah. And the folks that are watching this program that are self-employed know exactly what I'm talking about. We'll give some love to Stanley Martin. Stanley Martin builds a fantastic product, Judah. Give Stanley Martin some love. Gosh, is one of the best salesmen I've ever met. Gunnar Cook, still watching the program. Gunnar Cook is a hell of a baseball player, is a hell of a basketball player, is one of the best salesmen I've ever met. Go find yourself a model home with Stanley Martin. Go say hi to Gunnar Cook, Jimmy Evers, because Stanley Martin is dedicated to building homes that cater to each person's unique needs and lifestyles. High-quality single-family homes, townhomes, and condominiums. designed and constructed with innovative techniques that will ensure exceptional efficiency and aesthetic appeal. Gunnar Cook and Jimmy Evers. We need to get photos of Gunnar Cook and Jimmy Evers in the Stanley Martin branding. Give those boys some love. Anything you want to add to the program? We got Philip Reese on the show tomorrow, J-Dubs.
Oh, that's going to be great.
The chair of the Albemarle County, the chairman of the Albemarle County Republican Committee. He has the dubious distinction of revitalizing the Republican Party in Albemarle that is on the operating room table in the emergency room, and the paddles are not working. They're doing clear, flat line, and now they're calling in Surgeon Phil Reese to come in to see if he can figure out another way to go from flat line to heartbeat. The last victory for an Albemarle County Republican, whom, Judah Wickower?
Whom what?
Who was the last Albemarle County Republican to make it to victory lane?
The name's right on the tip of my tongue, but I don't think I'm going to pull it out.
Ken Boyd.
That's
Rio District. Albemarle County Board of Supervisors.
Yeah.
A generation ago. Scott Smith ran as a Republican in the Jack Jewett district, my district. I actually saw Fred Missel yesterday. And Scott Smith, he got the brakes beat off him. And just like that, the I Love CVille show has been live for 1 hour and 48 minutes.
Oh, we did it.
1 hour and 48 minutes.
Do we want to talk about the publicly traded Barracks Road updates?
Oh, yeah, we should put that on screen. Let's give 60 to 90 seconds on that. Federal Realty is a publicly traded company. Look at what they're doing with Barracks Road Shopping Center. You got the photos on screen?
Just about.
Take a look at the screen. Take a look at the screen. Take a look at the screen. I think it looks gorgeous.
It does look nice.
Federal Realty, the price per square foot to lease the highest spot in the city of Charlottesville is Barracks Road, and it's not close. And Federal Realty takes a percentage, it's percentage rent, where they're taking a cut of your top line revenue. But I'm going to tell you right now, Federal Realty, these coordinated improvements that will modernize exterior finishes, landscaping, and shared spaces to elevate the experience while reinforcing the distinctive character of Barracks Road Shopping Center, they are gorgeous. The exterior work began last fall with a new paint color palette and refined scheme of blues, grays, and Jeffersonian whites. Look at what they're doing. Did you get, there's a handful of photos in that carousel of pics. Did you get the handful of photos or just?
I just got the picture at the top and the picture in the middle.
The one in the middle was a carousel.
Okay.
Maybe we can show it tomorrow. So there's about a dozen photos that we could have showed that were sent to us. Maybe we can give the photos on screen to Federal Realty tomorrow. So we got two things on the knockout list for the I Love CVille show tomorrow. Please, kind sir. Jimmy and Gunner pics and the Stanley Martin branding and the additional photos from this carousel that we can showcase tomorrow on the show. Two programming notes before we get out of here. We're now an hour and 20 minutes in. Donald Trump's got nothing on us. Phil Reese on the program tomorrow. We're launching a new talk show on the I Love CVille network. That's going to air, did we say on Wednesday or Thursday, J-Dubs?
I believe it was next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, there's a new Q&A talk show, an interview talk show on the show. It's going to debut next Wednesday morning. The I Love CVille network is the metrics are, we are booming. Like booming, people. It's a water cooler content and conversation. He's Judah Wickower. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you for joining us.